Uh, peace, 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 peace. Hatep, Dua Hatep.
Greetings. So we took a brief hiatus from these short discourses to prepare and focus on the Opet Festival Ramses III presentation. So, and that presentation was completed last week, 4 days, and the testimonials and feedback was very nice, and it was nicely attended. So in any way, we're back here, and today we're going to begin an examination, oops, of the glyphs on the Benben stone of Amenemhat. Just one caveat to that is that this, as anyone who was at the OPEC Festival Ramses III presentation will know that what's being presented here is not a full exhaustive examination of the hieroglyphs inscription on the Benben stone. But it'll be enough to get some an understanding of what's going on and you know the general gist or meaning or underlying theme. But there's much more to it than what will be presented on this forum. So firstly, we are presented with the winged sun disk with two serpents coming out of it. And actually these two serpents are two goddesses, Aset and Nebehet, or Uwachet and Nekabet, whichever specific nuance you want to look at it from determines which of the goddesses that you ascribe to or that is being projected from the inscription. And then you have and if we were doing a full exhaustive examination, I will go much more into that, the goddesses and what they represent, etc. The left and right, these eyes are the left and right eyes of Earth. And they indicate penetrative insight into reality. Reality meaning the nature of phenomenal existence and the nature of the supreme divine. Then you have three symbols. One of these symbols is referred to as Nefer. And Nefer can mean beautiful or good. You have three of them. It's pronounced Neferu. And in a certain context, it means beatified, divine, and righteous, true, that kind of connotation, or something that's blessed. It depends on the context in which it's being used. In this context, it relates to the beatific, pure, supreme divine nature of spirit that is manifesting as the Benben. The Benben relates to the the initial appearance of objectification in the act of creation of creator spirit consciousness, which is Ra. And then below the three Nefer symbols, you have a sun disk. And what I did was I excised the sun disk with these the glyphs around it, because it's given a specific teaching in and of itself. So on the right of the sun disk is a series of glyphs that would make what we'd call a full sentence. And on the left of the sun disk is another series of glyphs that we can call a full sentence. But there's something occurring with the sun disk and the two glyphs that are directly left and right of it. So you have a glyph here, you have a glyph here, these two. You have a glyph here, you have a glyph here, these two, which technically is four if you count the phonetic value of the glyphs below them. We'll talk more about that now. So here's the symbol, the sun disk. And these symbols, so here's like a hedge plant, and here's a bee, and it means nestled beauty. It relates to sovereignty over the sovereignty over the two lands, the north and the south. So the higher and lower Egypt. That's from an exoteric perspective. From an esoteric perspective, it relates to the higher and lower nature of the royal personality, or the royal initiate, or a human being. And you can see it's kind of blurred, not the best picture, but you can see the bee and the plant is leaning towards the sun disk. Similarly, on the other side, this symbol is a duck, and it means Sa. And Sa means sun. Not the sun in the sky, sun like a child, someone's son. And this sun disk means Ra. So son of Ra. And then you have Ra in the center here. But the point is that the duck is looking at, or is facing the sun disk. That's in the center, which is Ra. And what this means is that the Nesubiti and the Sara are projections from the spirit, which is represented by the sun disk. The spirit, which is represented by the sun disk. So it means that the Nesubiti and the Sara are projections from spirit. And again, if we were doing a full distillation, that can take a whole 40, 50 minutes to explain. But you get it. This is the sun is, and over here it's telling us that there's a Sara. So there's a son of this spirit essence. So a manifestation of this spirit essence. So it's not the son of another human being, it's the son of spirit. So we'll start with the Sara side. So who is this son of spirit? Sa Ra Amenemhat, the Ankjeta. Son of creative spirit consciousness, foremost hidden witnessing consciousness essence within, give life forever. So the Sara, the son of spirit, is the Pharaoh. It was referring to as Pharaoh. The Kemetic term is Pur'a, meaning great house. So it's telling us that the Pharaoh is actually the child of spirit. And because of that, and keep in mind that when they're using this kind of language, son of spirit, what it means is that this person, Amenemhat, has realized this reality within himself. And this is what every serious spiritual aspirant strives to do. So the Pur'a is the symbol of every qualified spiritual aspirant. So every spiritual aspirant is a royal. And as we saw in the Opet Festival presentation, so every spiritual aspirant is a majesty. So your majesties, meaning all the spiritual aspirants, all the priests and priestesses of the temple are majesties. Because they have or are working to discover the essential nature of being, which is spirit. And because of that, if you realize that you are spirit essence, it means that you give life. You give temporal life in the sense that you give life to sentience, meaning the act of perception is because spirit is supporting mind and senses. So if there's no spirit as the underlying essence of mind and senses, no human being nowhere could perceive anything. In fact, no sentient being would be able to perceive anything. So that's giving life in one sense. In another sense, so when it says give life, it means giving the totality of life, or what is perceived to be life. Because normal sentient life cannot be said to be life in its truest essence. If you are perceiving with the mind and senses without insight into your Sara nature, it means that you are ignorant of one's own true divine nature. And therefore, if you are ignorant of your true divine nature, you cannot be said to be alive, because all your sensorial perceptions and your reactions to sensorial perception are all illusory. So give the appearance of life. Sara means son of Ra, but you also see Satra. Not here, but you also see Satra. It means daughter of Ra. So for females, it's Satra. For males, it's Sahara. But it essentially means the same thing. It means the progeny of spirit, being born from spirit, which every human being has, but most human beings are unaware. They misapprehend true life. They misapprehend the true source of being. And that's the cause of conflict and wars. And if you're able to throw bombs on people, whether they're in a bunker or on land or whether they're on sea in a boat, it means that you are ignorant of your true divine nature. No one who is enlightened to their true divine nature could do such things. It would be impossible. Because of the very nature of the realization of the inner nature of self. So all maladies, racism, hatred, down to expressions of anger, resentment, hostility, is due to the ignorance of the nature of self as being born from spirit. A mystic is someone who is working towards or who has achieved Sara consciousness. So not everyone's a mystic, put it that way. Not everyone is practicing a path that leads to resolution of the fundamental ignorance that is tied to their mind and senses, where they can only see and perceive separateness. So if a racist see a dark-skinned person, the automatic reaction is hatred, anger, or resentment. And all of that is due to fundamental ignorance. Problem is that ignorance can be very damaging. And so those souls need to be tamed, but you can only tame a soul if it wants it. And most ignorant people, because of the ignorance, they don't want it. So they make everyone around them miserable, including themselves. So that giving life from a sensorial perspective, but also, since spirit is the essence of phenomenality, It can also be the giving of immortality, which is the giving of the awareness of the essential nature of self. And that is given by experience. It is not something that you can hand to someone or something that you can ascribe. It's given by experience. Whereas the giving of sensorial perception is given by metaphysics. Metaphysics of the divine in its creation of the apparatus of sensorial perception, which are illusions, the magic tricks of the divine, the mind of God. And here we're speaking in a non-dual perspective, not a dual perspective. So immortality is given by experience. And in the Opet Festival, Ramses III presentation, I laid out that experience. The text showed the manner and means of achieving that experience. Laid it out plainly. Jeta. Jeta means forever, which relates to the maintenance of the appearance of time. So as long as time appears is as long as this life is given to sentience and to humans, immortality to humans who have discovered it true transcendental nature, who are ready for the experience. And in these short talks, I bring up more of the some of how it relates to normal human existence. Well, when we do our specialty teachings, like the OPET, the third OPET Festival Ramses III, I very rarely bring up these kinds of issues. It's pure spiritual philosophy. For something like this that's going to go on YouTube and so forth, you know, it's appropriate to mention certain things because it's necessary and it's truthful. So, do everyone until we meet again. Attack.